Today's video is for people that have gray hair, like me. Well, younger people can watch it too, but you may know some of this, but your parents probably don't. And that is, how can you use LLMs? And if you have gray hair, it means you probably don't even know what an LLM means. It means AI. Okay, let's just get with it. LLM means large language model. The chatbots, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, Grok, Copilot, others. Yeah. But we're not going to cover all of them. We're going to cover Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. Those are the four that I use the most and I'm most familiar with. And you're probably like, hey dude, they're all the same. The reality is they're not. Each one has different capabilities. Some are more honest than others. They have more of a, they're less likely to make stuff up. And so that's what we're going to talk about. So for older people, I got to tell you, a lot of times you don't necessarily, you'll say, I know people that do this. They're in Gemini. Or no, they're not even in Gemini. They're in ChatGPT. What time does the cleaners close in Topeka, Kansas? And what this is doing, it may give you a good answer, but it may not. It may not. ChatGPT might just invent it because it's not really designed to answer just a basic question. They're designed to solve problems, and this is just a basic question. So it might give you an answer. So it's giving me a map of Topeka, and again, it could be right. I mean, in all likelihood, it probably is right. But it might invent cleaners and make up the hours just so it can answer a question. Because again, so you're like, Mr. Engineer, what are you talking about? What's the difference between a question and solving a problem? Like, how can you solve a problem without having a question? And that's a fair point. And I think what it is like, a question to me is something basic. It's like a Frisbee. You throw it out, the dog grabs it, brings it back, you know? That's like a web search. Throw it out there, bring it back. Throw it out there, bring it back. There's nothing else to it. A problem is something that needs to be solved. You know, like an algebra problem. You know, it's not necessarily throw it out there, it brings it back. It's got to do some thinking. It's got to figure some stuff out. It's got to sequence things. And that is where our chatbots, LLMs, do great. But even then, they're not all the same, right? They have different capabilities. All right, so that was our cleaners. Just to give you a kind of a weird example. ChatGPT is the most popular, and for good reason. I find that it's good at almost everything, with a few notable problems, questions, or challenges. One of them being if you just give it something too basic. You're using a Ferrari to go get your mail from the mailbox. You rev it up, but it just blows past the mailbox, right? You're just like, you're down the road. That's what you're doing. There's better tools for that. But ChatGPT is very good, and I mean very good, at taking information you give it and parceling it out and feeding it back to you in ways that you can understand it. What does that mean? How can you, as a 62-year-old man, woman, whatever, use that? All right, well, I'll give you a great example. This PDF file is the manual for your Tahoe, your vehicle, your Lexus, whatever you're driving, right? You're driving it. We're just going to put your owner's manual in ChatGPT, right? Now get this. Where is the fuse box in this one happens to be a Tahoe, in my Tahoe? Question mark. Right? You're asking a question, but you're given a problem. The problem is read this manual, right? It's like, find this thing. It's like, you're not saying, hey, go to the World Wide Web and find it. You're saying in this manual. Actually, we haven't said that. Here attached is the manual for my Chevy Tahoe. And obviously you can use it for any vehicle. It's going to read the entire manual. You don't have time for that. You got things to do. I get too bored. I can't do it. Oh, left instrument panel. Driver side. Located on the driver's side. Blah, blah. Right instrument panel. Engine component. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Another question. What should my tire pressure be? Boom! Right? Okay, it's telling me where to find it. Oh, right there. So, is the tire pressure recommendation listed in the manual? So no, it doesn't. So it says look on the sidewall. Well, you probably knew that anyway. Why it's not printed as one number in the manual, and it gives you different reasons. But hey, you get the idea, right? Like, instead of thumbing through a manual, and this is just your manual for your car. It could be the manual for your TV, your entertainment center, how to set it up. You have them all in a folder like this, and it's a PDF file. If you don't know how to do that, your kids don't show you how to make a PDF file out of it. And then when you have a question, you just drag it into this box and say, here is the manual, answer this. Beautiful. All right. Next thing, and this is ChatGPT. Gemini will do this. Claude will do it. I think ChatGPT might be the best, but the others have different purposes, and we'll get to those in a minute. Next thing, I use this quite a bit. I'm going to give you a warning, but only a bit of a warning. Contracts. Lawyers are expensive, right? So right here, I've got the end-use contract of Roku, like, you know, our little Roku player. I'm not going to hire a lawyer to read that for me. I'm just not going to do it. $500 an hour? Hey, lawyer, read this owner's manual or this contract for my Roku player. Or read the contract for my roof that has to be reinstalled or be put on. Or please read the contract for this work that's being done on my car. Like, it would be great to have a lawyer summarize it, and that's what we're going to do. Summarize this contract. Is anything suspicious? Is there any, are there, I'm an engineer again, are there any red flags? Bam! Let's see what it says. This is just I just tried to find a contract online, right? This contract governs your Roku streaming device, built-in firmware, blah, blah, blah. By activating or using your device, you automatically agree to all terms. If you do not agree, your only option is to return the product. Did you know that? They can change the contract. Here's the red flags. They can change the contract at any time. They can remove the features without warning. Strong restrictions on what you can do with the device. You can't reverse engineer it. Payment info required even for free use. Auto renewing. As is warranty. But look at that. Isn't that great? Let's now just create a question, right? So we've got the contract. Like, let's say I'm going to put my Roku up for sale on eBay. If I sell my Roku on eBay, would I have any liability? Or potential monetary? All right, so what I'm saying is, like, hey, I'm selling my Roku on eBay. What happens when I sell it, right? Does the new owner, can they like start renting a bunch of movies and say? Nothing in this agreement says you can't resell the hardware itself. Account credit bar. So the main liability is if you have your credit card still installed, right? Risk. Here's the risk that you could have. Auto renew even after the sale. So like these are just things that you can think of, right? So like if you wanted to sell your Roku, these are great things you need to think. Like, hey, I need to get my credit card out of there. I need to cancel all my auto renewals. Maybe you would think of that beforehand, but maybe you wouldn't have, right? So this is helpful, and you can do it on anything. One of the things I've had other older people do is literally they get a piece of mail they don't understand, literally take a picture of it and run it through ChatGPT. You know, hey, what's this saying? Do I really owe the IRS $500? Hey, what's this saying? Is my 2019 Lexus actually really in high demand? And it'll answer it for you. Even a Facebook post or something, picture. Hey, is this real or is this fake news? And I will warn you, that it's not a lawyer and it doesn't get everything right, but it gives you a pretty good foundation. And the next thing I'm going to show you is how you can find out if it's right. So this is ChatGPT. ChatGPT has problems. It makes mistakes. So does Gemini. So does Claude. But guess what? If you put in a couple of them, more than likely they won't make the same mistake. They may, but it's unlikely. And in fact, all you do is say, check the work, right? So like, we're just going to do, teach you right now, open window, Shift S, you can do a screen save. We're just going to do this. We're going to go into Claude. Back at it, Mr. Engineer. That's right, buddy. I'm always at it. And we're going to say, I want to sell my Roku. Is this an accurate statement? It's going to read my screenshot. The charge is overstated. Modern Rokus require a PIN. This document is essentially giving sound advice, but using slightly alarmist framing about the payment risk. Hey, that's a good response, man. So think about it now. Think in your everyday life. How can this be used, right? How can it be used? So that things that confuse you or things that could potentially scam you or scam your parents or your grandparents, how can you use it to make their life not only easier, but in a sense, more secure from fraud? And again, AI has a lot of detractors to it, rightfully so. There's a lot of problems and challenges, but this is good. This is good stuff. This is ways to keep people from getting scammed. And I'm all about people not getting scammed. So we're on Claude. So Claude is my buddy. So we're going to have to go into a couple things. One thing is ChatGPT always wants to make you happy, right? It will tell you you're the most handsome man in the world or woman in the world. It's going to tell you everything just to make you happy. Because at the end of every question, it has a thumbs up or thumbs down. And if it thinks it makes you happy by complimenting you, it's going to compliment you. And so you got to be aware of that. It wants to make you happy, and sometimes just feeding into your confirmation bias will make you happy. So that is the real danger in ChatGPT and Gemini, Google Gemini. Claude's a little different. Claude's mantra is, or the ethos is, do no harm. So if Claude starts to like lay things on a little thick, you could say, hey, are you just telling me what I want to hear? Or are you being real? Boom. And here's the thing, it will answer this honestly. I'm being real with you, Mr. Engineer. But I've asked it questions like that before, and it would come back and say, oh, no, you're right, I'm wrong. Because it's not, the ethos again is do no harm. The other thing with Claude is that it's a fantastic writer. So a lot of times people will say, hey, that reads like AI. That reads like AI, blah, blah, blah. With Claude, you just tell it not to sound like AI. You can make it sound like whatever you want to. Let's watch this. Like, Claude, clause. Type up a summary of Gone with the Wind, but write it like a 8-year-old. There's a lot of fun things you can do here. I mean, okay, so this girl named Scarlett, and she lives on a big farm in the South with lots of pretty dresses. She's kind of mean and only thinks about herself a lot. She really, really likes this boy, Ashley, but he doesn't like her back. Like, he likes her cousin, Melanie, instead, which makes Scarlett super mad. Then there's this other guy named Red, who thinks Scarlett is pretty, but also knows she's kind of bratty. That doesn't sound like AI, right? That sounds like it sounds like a really smart 8-year-old, but it's good. So that is a fun thing with Claude. Claude will write things like you ask. It will analyze honestly. A couple drawbacks with Claude. One is the free subscription does not give you much. Like very, 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 very little. Like you can ask it like 3 or 4 questions or problems or whatever before you like kind of tap out. So you really almost have to have the paid program. And even if you have the paid subscription like I do, you will still hit your limit. I mean, I've hit my limit and it will just flat out, boom, stop. So after about 2 hours of working with Claude, it'll just, hey, sorry, you're done for 8 hours. So keep that in mind. The other thing with Claude that's interesting is that it has a training window. I think ChatGPT and Gemini do too, but they're more recent. And there's ways to get around it. Claude has a training window. Let's ask it. Claude, when did your training period end? And what that means, my knowledge cutoff is at the end of January 2025. Since today is January 30th, 2026, there's a year worth of things that have happened that he's clueless about. Claude is stuck in last year. Everything that's happened since January of 2025, he has no idea, or Claude has no idea about it, right? Anything that, any development, any science project, any news story, anything like that doesn't exist in Claude's world. He's in a time machine back a year. Now, that window continuously goes forward, but there's always going to be a gap where they can verify the information that he's being trained on, which is kind of good because if there's like some sort of trend or if there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out, it gives you a bit of a guard so that it's not being absorbed into the AI, into the LLM, and it kind of protects you from that, the recency of it, the bias. So that's Claude. It's very useful. Claude is the thing that's is excellent at sequencing things. Like if you want to go on I have 2 weeks to go on a vacation in Europe in June. Claude knows I'm doing a demonstration right now because I told it. And so I'm showing your capabilities in a demonstration. Hypothetically, if I have a 2 weeks to go on a vacation in June, help show how you would optimize my trip so I can see the great artwork of Europe. Again, this is just for demonstration. I say that because we're actually going to go to Europe this summer, so I don't want to confuse the two. So it's your vacation planner. It does have you going from Venice to Amsterdam. And so like, why wouldn't I start? Claude can make mistakes too. Remember, all these can make mistakes. In Amsterdam, and then go to Paris. So right, the way it had me started in Paris, going to Italy, and then coming back up to Amsterdam. You're absolutely right. Why didn't I suggest this initially? Honestly, I defaulted to the classic Grand Tour. So look, and then it says your instinct is correct, right? So what is it trying to do? It's trying to pat you on the back, saying, hey, you really are a pretty smart person. Again, you got to be careful of that because remember, it's just fishing for these thumbs ups. So Claude is very powerful. I mean, the sequencing here actually kind of showed a little bit of a quirk, but you keep iterating on this and you can get really fantastic results. It's crazy powerful. The stuff I showed with the owner's manual and taking pictures of your mail and things like that, that can all go into Claude too. Claude, however, unlike Gemini and unlike ChatGPT, Claude does not have the ability to generate pictures or videos and things like that. Gemini. Gemini is the genius of Google. Literally anything that's on the web, anything that's multimedia. Gemini has Nano Banana Pro connected to it. I've got the Ultra account, which gives me some other capabilities. I've got the Ultra account. It also has Google Veo attached to it, so it can make video, it can make images. It really is smart. And it does a little bit more web search for you too. So the training window can be supplemented with actual live internet searches. Still not a Google search. I think don't use it for that. I know a lot of people that have Gemini and they use it for a Google search, and it does a pretty fair job. But again, it's taking your Ferrari to the mailbox. It'll work maybe most of the time, but sometimes it's just going to cause problems. If you need to do a Google search, just do a Google search. Don't necessarily go to Gemini. The free window on it's quite a bit. The training window is pretty good. You can drop documents in there. It's fantastic multimedia. The thing that Google Gemini can do that Claude absolutely can't do, and what ChatGPT also struggles with, is it can watch a video and give you feedback. So here's a video of us in London last year. Summarize this video for me. So again, you can get a video of something like a bird maybe outside and say, hey, what kind of bird is this? Now, Gemini or ChatGPT and Claude can read pictures and images. It does a very good job with that. But it can't read video. Okay, so here is our result. I went ahead and fast forwarded a little bit for you. So this says, in this video, the assistant and her father, me, Mr. Engineer, are on a quest to find Jellycat Fish and Chips Station in London. That's right. That's exactly what we did. So here's the video. And it's only 17 seconds, so this isn't like earth-shatteringly long. Well, it doesn't want to play it right now. It would. So it says, the initial discovery, we're excited to point out a food truck, which is true. The food truck, her father defines the truck as a London exclusive fish and chips stand. It also has fresh coffee. Coffee is pretty good. So anyhow, this is exactly what happened in this 17-second clip. Couple notes here. ChatGPT would kind of watch his videos. What it does is it slices it up into frames. It will get a transcript, and then it kind of tries to merge the results, blend it in, provide context between the frames, which sometimes is successful, but a lot of times it's not, especially in longer clips. Occasionally I'll put in a YouTube video that I've created, and I'll say, hey, analyze this, look for certain strengths and weaknesses, and ChatGPT will just invent things, where Gemini is pretty good at not doing that. The challenge you may have with Gemini is if you do it too many times, you'll have to it starts to kind of lose its way, if you will, and you'll have to just do a new chat, which isn't a big deal. So anything within the Google ecosystem, I find that ChatGPT is fantastic. I'm sorry, Google Gemini is fantastic. It does a great job of being able to go to the web, find things. It does a very good job with media, you know, because with Nano Banana Pro, with Veo 3.1, it's great. ChatGPT has Sora 2 and DALL-E, I think it's 4.5 integrated, but they're not quite as well integrated, if that makes any sense. You're going to take a picture with your phone, you want to throw it in. One thing that's nice about Gemini is it handles HEIC files from your phone, picture files, where ChatGPT and a lot of the others will not. You'll have to convert them. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. You take a picture with your phone, and you have it on your desktop, you drop it in ChatGPT, and it's like, can't read it. Where there's actually a hack where you can drop it right into Gemini and convert it, which is pretty fantastic. So that is the kind of the foundation for Gemini. A couple things. It will invent stuff. I think it might be, if you're asking it to just basic questions, it is one of the ones that will invent answers probably the most. So you definitely have to, and it says right here, Gemini can make mistakes, so double check it. That's a fact, okay? It's good, it's not great. I mean, it's good, but it's not perfect. So you definitely want to run your information through ChatGPT or Claude or the next thing I'm about to show you. But Gemini is definitely the top tier when it comes to handling. When you put pictures, when you put video in, you ask for feedback, it's just really good. Quick question or answer. I've already actually done this part of the video once, and I realized I did it wrong. One thing, the next one is Perplexity. ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini are great at solving problems. I've said that many times. But they have sometimes issues with answering basic questions. They're not a search engine, per se. Remember, they're a large language model, a chatbot, not really a search engine. Perplexity is a search engine, for the most part. Meaning it will go to the web, it'll find answers. It's not going to try to be your best friend. I mean, it'll try to make you happy, but it's not going to say, hey, great job, man. That's a great question that you asked. It's going to be less likely to invent stuff. Contextually, of the four, I'd say it's the best. It'll occasionally make mistakes, but not as bad. But it's real strength, and it's really good for your phone. It's for something like this. Say you're going to Denver. What are the top-rated Mexican restaurants? Watch me spell restaurants wrong, so I spell it wrong every single time. In Denver, Colorado. Please list the phone numbers. And you could get a good answer with this for Gemini and for ChatGPT and Claude, but they might invent restaurants that don't exist, or in the case of Claude, restaurants that went out of business last year because its context window that it's been trained in has already ended. So let's answer it. Another thing you're going to like about Perplexity, fast, super fast. Right here, restaurants with the phone numbers, websites. So this is why Perplexity makes fewer mistakes. It's because it documents everything very well. It gives you the link, right? So you can go to the restaurant right here. Boom, boom, boom. Very good. I actually don't pay for Perplexity subscription. I just don't. It's free within a certain amount of usage. But unlike Claude, you actually get a fair amount of usage. And I'm not usually asking it to do like massive problems because that's not what it's great for. It's good at solving little things. Like the Frisbee, right? It's like it's your dog with the Frisbee. You throw it out, it grabs it, brings it back. It's not trying to like save Timmy and do all these other things. It's just trying to go out, bring it back. And so because of that, it invents fewer things. So let's come up with a question. That's a question that's got a few layers to it. What NFL football players have appeared in at least 2 movies? We'll say theatrical, right? Because why not? Theatrical movies. All right, now that's a pretty complex question, right? I mean, it's a Google search, but you're probably not going to get a good answer. It's going to take some logic. It's going to have to like pull things together. And again, this is the type of question that Gemini and ChatGPT and Claude will honestly almost always get wrong. They will just almost always get it wrong. Especially this part where I say 2 movies. Because they will start thinking what NFL players should have been in movies instead of what were. Jim Brown, The Dirty Dozen, The Running Man, Mars Attacks, and Any Given Sunday, and many others. O.J. Simpson, probably shouldn't talk about that. Tower Inferno, Capricorn 1, The Naked Gun films, and several others. Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. For Williamson, the legendary lion, Alex Karras, he was in Blazing Saddles, and I think he was in Webster, wasn't he? That was a TV show. Terry Bradshaw, Bubba Smith, Tom Brady. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that's right. Ray Nitsky. Because acting credits on what counts as theatrical versus TV streaming can be fuzzy, you'll find other names, like these guys, who have been in multiple screen roles, though are mostly TV or cameos. Bubba Smith. So this is a good result, right? Like I said, if you ran this through ChatGPT, let's see what it says. I'm telling you what it's going to say, but let's see what it actually says. It might get it right. It might. But these are classic types of questions that they invent context for. Jim Brown? Okay, well... Okay, so it proved me wrong. It actually got it right. It looks like the same list that we had with Perplexity. Let's try Google Gemini. You'll have to take my word that if you start asking questions like that, you're going to have a tendency to get wrong answers. I bring that up because I had a friend once ask me what he said that ChatGPT got a lot of stuff wrong, because he said he referenced what U.S. senators have been in the FBI, and it started making up senators, and it was because he didn't say the word like current and things like that, so it was too large and fuzzy. Jim Brown, Terry Crews, Carl Weathers, Terry Bradshaw. Different names. I don't think we had from Williamson left in there. Lawrence Taylor, Tom Brady, Bill Goldberg, Merlin Olsen. Remember Merlin Olsen? He was in Little House on the Prairie. And what was the other one? The one where Michael Landon was the angel. Heaven. Leave a comment. What was the name of that show? He was Michael Landon's buddy in the Highway to Heaven. Was it Highway to Heaven? I think it was Highway to Heaven. Dude, I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I can remember Highway to Heaven. You know. All right. So again, that's a Perplexity question. You'll have to take my word for it. Apparently these other ones, since I'm filming right now, they want me to be a liar. And I don't like being a liar, but sorry. So one thing I've not covered Grok. I've not covered Copilot. I don't really use them very often. So if you have any kind of insight you want to share about those two LLMs, I'd love to hear it. And I've tried to do some novel things with these too, like with Claude, you know, how to write something like an 8-year-old, how to actually take pictures and insert them into things to you know, get feedback. You know, if you take a picture of a bird and you zoom in, you can ask ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, what's the name of the bird, and it'll get it right. I will say that my limited experience with Facebook, Meta, AI through Meta glasses, I would ask it questions all the time, and it got probably half of them wrong. So that was back in September. So I wasn't a huge fan of the Meta AI, but maybe it's gotten better. So hey, I'd love to hear your facts and opinions on all of these. I don't have all of the answers, of course. It's a growing field. It's huge. There are other things like how to make learning models, LLMs, to do things for you. It's just absolutely fascinating. You also have how to code. Like Claude is a fantastic coder. But that's outside the scope of this video. This scope is, hey, how does your people over age 45, how do they use these different AI tools to improve their lives? And I think that one of the great ways to do it is like simple tasks around the house, how you can fix things, how you can identify things. And I think most importantly, especially for people that are maybe over 60 and 70, how you can prevent being scammed, because it's just, unfortunately, the world we live in. So running this stuff through multiple models and getting feedback, having it summarized, and then asking questions about the stuff that you provided is, I think, a hugely important and powerful tool. But again, I'd love to hear how you're using them, and leave a comment.